back to another episode of my poor financial decision-making skills. On this episode of I'm trying to restore a V12 750, I'll figure out everything with the back half of the car, why it was not working, and I'll go through that repair real quick. I'll figure out everything in the suspension and the driveline that I had to get taken care of. I'm going to go over pulling the transmission and fixing a torque converter clutch issue that was causing a check engine light, which was preventing me from getting emissions. And hopefully I will be ready to go get this thing smogged. So yeah, stick around. All right. Oh, that light's awful. Let's flip it around. There we go. Okay, so today I got a whole bunch of stuff figured out. I started working on taking out all of the old stereo equipment that was in the trunk. The rear bumper was like super cracked and there was pieces missing off of the thing, so I'm trying to find a rear bumper that I can put on there. In the process of cleaning up the rear trunk area, trying to figure out why the ass half of this car is just completely dead. I started pulling out all the stereo equipment. You know, like any good stereo installer, runs it in between the back seat and under the thing, and then it gets pinched in the seat and the floor, and you know, so it routes around the seat or out from under the seat and then around into the sill panels, and then, you know, comes out the sill panel and then under the driver's seat and then under the driver's seat up into the console and then into a little bass knob so that we can adjust the bass on our subwoofers and all the RCA cables and all that stuff. I pulled all that stuff out. I'm gonna get the factory stereo system working. What better place to start? You know, there was no problem with these things that I remember. I thought they actually sounded pretty good. You know, the speakers maybe shot, put a new set of speakers in there. Head unit, I didn't think there was any problem with the head unit, and there's BMW anyway, so, you know, whatever, we'll use it. So I want to get the thing working, figure out what's wrong with it. So I got all that wiring out of there, and what I noticed is that somebody had attempted to splice an auxiliary cord. You know, this was soldered into some of the wiring and stuff like that. Like, it's a little auxiliary cord so that somebody can plug their iPod or something in there. There was 5 or 6 wires that somebody had attempted to solder this thing to it. Well, that didn't work. We'll try this. Well, that didn't work. We'll try this. I wonder if this thing ever worked. I also wonder if this is part of the problem why the stereo doesn't work. So I'm gonna pop the amplifiers and, you know, whatever all that other garbage is, the CD player. I don't know what any of that shit is under there. Fuck BMW, why couldn't you just use one fucking module? Oh well. I'll pull all that stuff out tomorrow. I'm gonna figure out what's wrong with all of that crap. And, you know, hopefully it's simple. It's like somebody didn't plug something in. Wouldn't that be great? Hopefully nothing's fried. I don't want to have to replace any of this crap because it's probably stupid expensive. Yeah, but again, I'm fried and it's still hot, and we're gonna figure out more tomorrow. So one of the absolute greatest things about bringing an old BMW to life is the amount of electrical work that you have to do. I literally have had this entire area taken apart and dealing with I-bus communication, K-bus communication, D-bus communication. There's a whole bunch of protocols between all of these little modules back here that involve the stereo working. And luckily, I was able to figure it out. It was a burned up module. One of the things wasn't working. The amplifier was absolutely fried. And what it ended up being is this little piece of crap right here. This little component is 60 cents, and the thing is friggin' melted. The pins are just burned out of the thing. They actually broke off upon manipulation, but yeah, so I took that apart. I resoldered all that stuff together on the circuit board. Maybe goddamn if it fired up. I have a stereo now. It's absolutely great. and in today's episode of I fucking bought a V12, I've narrowed the 180 codes in the system down to about 2. I found a little driver in the amplifier in the back that had shorted out, melted the circuit board, fratzed out, and it was part of the 5-volt reference for the entire CAN bus back there, and the back half of the car didn't work, and there was about 200 codes in the entire car, back half of the car, because nothing was working. It was absolutely shorted. So I got that squared away, and so the car's to life now. I've got 2 codes left. In the global OBD2 world, it was a P0740 and a P0456, which is something like gross leak and a torque converter clutch circuit. What the fuck? So I yanked the transmission out. Good Lord. That's on par with like the Ford E40D or 4R100. That thing is literally massive. It's 4 feet long, 3 feet tall. It's got 5 arms and purple fur. It was a monster to take out. It was a bear. But I got the thing on the ground, got the torque converter out. Right there is what that is. And now it's draining, and you can see the color of the fluid coming out of the thing. That shit is black. It is nasty black. There's nothing left of it. So, yeah. Finalizing today's episode, I have a pain in the butt to put back together. Luckily, I can get the parts. It's I'm 118 out here, and I'm one of those geniuses that think that's okay to work in. Gone through 2 gallons of water today, and I think I've peed once about 4 hours ago. Welcome to Arizona. Retain water like a lizard. Anyways, so the diff is back up under there. 100%. Got this big aluminum heaty shield for the exhaust. Basically, the rear of the car is back together. All of the I gotta climb all the way up under here. All the bushings are replaced. The new bushing right there. The 2 bushings for the thing on the back, those were absolutely destroyed, and I didn't know it, so I didn't order them. Which, that's just me being absolutely stupid. I shouldn't have done that at all. I should have known if I'm going to do 1, I need to do all 3. But those bolts that I found loose are absolutely tight now. Solid CVs into my differential. Nothing was really leaking on the diff, but I kind of wire brushed the top of it where that vent is. This thing actually went back together pretty easily. I mean, there's only 3 bolts holding this entire thing in, plus axles and a shaft, so... Worst part about replacing those bushings is I had to get that little brake valve thing on the back that's attached to the rear sway bar. I had to get that out of the way, which that's only 3 bolts, you know, and it just lays nicely out of the way. And then, you know, this job was actually really, really simple. So my drive shaft is completely finished. All of that's back together, new mounts and everything. This geometry should take care of that absolutely horrendous vibration, you know, that I had anywhere after like 45 or 50 miles an hour. This thing would just come in and, like, if you have fillings in the back of your teeth, it would just vibrate them loose, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna get this heat shield in here, and I'm gonna get the exhaust back in. I gotta get the cooler and the crank sensor wiring put back together, but we're making progress. I'm probably gonna have this thing moving along
maybe tomorrow morning. I gotta take that pan off, unfortunately, and I'm gonna put a factory gasket and a factory filter back in it with the new O-ring. Yeah, but we're doing really good. Those diff bushings, I'm actually really happy with the diff bushings. That came out and it is solid. I'm happy with it. It'll be kind of interesting to see what happens when I'm at speed on the freeway, if I get any noise or transfers any vibration through them. But yeah, came out nice.
That's a pretty good feeling when you do a metric of work to something and it works. It's a pretty good feeling, gotta say. I replaced a torque converter on this BMW to get rid of an OBD2 P0740. That's converter clutch circuit or solenoid circuit. That's not what it was. That was in great shape. There was no reason to replace a $250 solenoid when it was a $250 converter. I'll put a Recon converter in there, which a lot of people are going to go, oh, it's not stop BMW. But guess what? My check engine light isn't on, and I have almost a 400 RPM drop when the converter locks up.